Are there aspects to your day that you feel as if you're just, checking the box? Do you ever strive to reach out of your comfort zone, become uncomfortable, and level up? Privileged to be your host, this is Jason Wabick. Now, let's uncheck the box. A great day to everybody out there. Once again, this is Jason Wabick, host of the Uncheck the Box podcast, where today we continue our journey together in the quest of being the best versions of ourselves that we can possibly be. Today, I ask you one simple question. Do you own your day? Or should we look at it from this perspective? Does our day own us? You see, my friends, it can be only one way or the other. Listen, though. We are human beings. We are imperfect people. We have good days and we have bad days. But again, that question goes back to, do we have more good days than bad or vice versa? And what can we do about that? Have you ever gotten to the end of the day, okay, and you just felt flat out exhausted and unfulfilled, feeling like you didn't accomplish anything that day? Well, that is a sign, my friends, that the day owned you. That means you took a reactive approach, hoping that you were going to be successful that day and accomplish what it is that you set yourself out to do. So we have to remember there are a few key points, and today we're only going to touch on a couple, not limited to these, but a few key things that will give us a better head start in making sure we take control of our day versus our day controlling us. The first thing we should do, everybody, we have to listen here, okay? The first thing we should do is embrace routine and embrace ritual in our life. If we expect to get good results, we have to expect to add a degree of routine and to do things repeatedly that we know are good for us. When you're working on how to plan your day out and reach specific goals, embracing a degree of ritual will provide the structure and the discipline that we need to accomplish those goals. So we start out by looking at, okay, in our day, there's certain parts of our day, and if we can break them down into specific parts, and then also ask ourselves after that part is completed, did we win that part of the day? And so those parts can easily be broken down to morning, afternoon, and evening. Most simply, if you want to break your afternoon down into early afternoon, late afternoon, or your evening into early evening, late evening, that is up to you, okay? But break it down into smaller parts, because when you break it down into smaller parts, it's easier for you to accomplish goals when you break them down. So in the morning, okay, I'm going to own the morning, right? I want to win the morning. I don't win every morning, but if I'm intentional about it, I'm going to win most mornings. Then I'm going to go into my day, okay? Maybe I break it down in a late morning. I get to work, and now I'm in my mid-morning, late morning. I'm going to own that part of my day, or at least attempt to. Get into my afternoon, and then get into my evening. So everybody, break your day down into smaller parts, and then your goal should be to own it. Let's say you didn't win the morning, okay, but you do have the ability to win the afternoon, to win the evening. You see, my friends, the day is not lost. Go out there and get it. Even if you lost the morning, win the rest of your day. That is your goal. Break your day into smaller parts. So I ask you this rhetorical question. Do you have a routine currently? Do you have a process? Do you break your day out into separate sections? Do you try to actively own each section? Remember, everybody, positive mindset's key, especially in that morning time. Starting your day out by practicing gratitude, having a positive mindset will help improve mental health. It's going to be a great day today is something that we could possibly say to ourselves. Ben Franklin used to say, "What good shall I do today?" Every day, he would get up and say, "What good shall I do today?" And as one of my favorite guys in the whole world, favorite corporate trainers, Dave Anderson always says, "Are you just getting through the day? Is the day owning you?" Starting that day out is going to be killer. And then also equally as killer is having a dynamite evening routine. And this is a time in which you can sit down and assess the day that was. Also another great time for gratitude, everybody. Never a bad time to express gratitude. What were you grateful for that day? Debrief. How did the day go? What did you do well? What could you have done better? Own all of your successes, my friends, and equally own your failures. Again, I said this, we are imperfect. And what do we always say? We learn from our failures. That's how we learn and grow. So own them. So at the end of the night, if you start an evening routine or if you have one, embrace your successes equally as your failures. Remember, everybody, plan your next day. If you sit down in the evening and plan your next day, there is no need to wake up already in stress because you got to figure out what you're going to do that day. Did you know that, everyone? Anytime we have to make a decision, we add a little bit of stress in our life. So why do that to yourselves? Why make decisions the morning of? Plan your day the day before, so this way when you wake up, you're good to go. No decisions need to be made right away. You start your day off in that positive mindset, expressing gratitude. Take care of your body as well, too. That's for another episode, and we've talked about it on previous episodes. But plan the night before. De-stress before the all-important great night of sleep. You know, a lot of us, we don't. And we're not careful enough because we're feeding our brains with stuff that gives us poor sleep. Social media, or anything in our phones, quite frankly. TV. So just be mindful of what we're feeding ourselves before we get that sleep that is, again, so important. It is important to wind down and shut down our brains from the day that was. So don't keep it up any longer than it has to be. My friends, we need sleep. So get to it, right? And there are definitely good ways that we can start to shut down and wind down. Another thing, everybody, have a well-executable written plan. By writing down our plan for each day, it allows us for ourselves to hold ourselves accountable. But we have to have it written down. We have to have a plan. It can't be just up in our brain because what's going to happen is our brain is going to fail us. It's going to forget. It's only inevitable. So if you have it written down, you won't forget. It allows you, again, to hold yourself accountable to what it is you know you need and want to accomplish. When I'm training sales representatives at work, I love using this one specific analogy. And for those of you that subscribe to this channel, you know I love analogies because I think it really does make anything applicable pretty real if we can use them in something that is in everyday life, right? So I use this analogy of a sports team. It doesn't matter what sport, right? Every sport typically has coaches and players, and then they have a field or some sort of place that they compete. So take any sports team, right? And in order for them to take the field and come up against a competitor, I'd like to think that coaching staff, along with the players, game plan for that opponent for that day. They game plan, they watch film, they study, and they've got this massive playbook, right? But they don't use every play for every game. What they do is they handpick the plays specifically to form a plan to try to win the game against that specific opponent, right? They don't use every play in the playbook. So my friends, you might have a lot of different plays in your playbook, but how are you going to win today? It's by having a plan. If that sports team didn't have a plan, there's a very good chance that they lose that day. Now, could they win by happen chance? Absolutely. There's no question about that. They could win by happen chance, but they're probably going to lose way more than they win if they don't have that game plan set. They are built for success. They're building for success. Now, at halftime, let's say they're down by 21, right? What do they have to do? They might have to readjust the game plan, maybe pivot a little bit. And you're going to have to do that in your day. Middle of the day, it's not going as planned, so you might have to pivot. And the sports team still may not win the game, but they gave it their all, everybody. Again, like I said before, you're not going to win every day, but you will win more than you lose if you have a handwritten plan. If you don't, you're taking a chance and hoping that you're going to get the results that you want. But hope is not a strategy, ladies and gentlemen. It is about being proactive and not reactive. Take your day by the horns and kill it today. Don't wait for it to come to you. Don't hope the results are going to come. You go out and you own it. You go out and you go get what it is that you want. Don't wait for it. Time is ticking. My goodness gracious, everybody. I'm telling you, there isn't one more takeaway than that. Time is moving quickly, and you take control of your day and the results that you want to get. Now it comes to this last and final bullet point for today, and that is we have to prioritize. Listen, it's crazy out there, everybody. Again, like I said before, we only have 24 hours. We only have 24 hours in our day, and everybody's got 24 hours. You can't create more time, so we're going to have to make tough decisions. Remember, we are human and not superhuman. So if you want to declutter your brain, you got to write stuff down. Going back to the plan earlier, right? Write your plan down. Well, this is separate from your plan. If something comes to mind, then write it down. And then what we have to do is we got to take all these items that are written down. We have to prioritize them. We schedule them with priority. We get them on the planner with priority. So we have to ask ourselves, okay, what do I hope to achieve and how do I plan to achieve it? So one simple question we can ask ourselves, and it's a metaphor, shockingly, right? Because I love metaphors. But we got to ask ourselves, is this a $10 an hour activity or is this a $100 an hour activity? Both are going to be important. Both are paying us something, metaphorically, again, but one is paying us more. And so if we ask ourselves that question, I think that'll help us organize these things that are up in our brain, organize them with priority. And it keeps us from getting bogged down by too many administrative tasks. My friends, we got to keep everything in order. And sometimes if we're doing too many of those admin things, we never get to the things that are going to give us the biggest reward. All right, everybody. I hope there were some good takeaways today. As always, I appreciate you. I appreciate you tuning in anytime there's a new episode, and I definitely appreciate this platform. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, a phenomenal rest of your week, and until next time, we will see you soon. Appreciate you, everybody. Take care out there.